and Krishna birthplace is still there. So Krishna personally came to teach the science of Krishna Bhakti. And although he proposed that dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami juge juge, but at the end he said, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. And this is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam that dharma projita koitava, except surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna, anything which is going on in the name of dharma, that is not dharma. Therefore Krishna says, sarva dharman parityajya. When Krishna came, he did not come to re-establish Hindu religion or Christian religion or Muslim religion. No. Religion is religion. Gold is gold. You cannot say Hindu gold, Muslim gold, Christian gold. That is not possible. That is not possible. That is called koitava dharma, cheating dharma. Gold is gold, pure gold. Therefore, Bhagavad says, dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranita. Dharma means the order or the law given by God. That is all. This is the simple explanation of it. If you want to know what do we mean by dharma, then dharma means dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranita. Just like law. Law means which is given, sanctioned by the government. You cannot make your law at home. You cannot say the law given by the government or by the governor, I don't care for it. I shall make my own law. So that is not possible. That will never be accepted as law. You can make your law. Similarly, if you manufacture dharma without any reference to the authority, that is not dharma. That is cheating religion. Dharma projita koitava. So therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, what he is speaking, mamekam saranam, that is dharma. All other things are cheating. And when Krishna says, mamekam saranam vraja, he does not say to any particular community or any country or any nation. He speaks to everyone. Sarvajonishu kaunteya sambhavanti murtaya tasang mahajjani brahma ahanga bija padapita. He says, I am the seed-giving father of all forms of life. Krishna does not say that I am speaking to Indian or the Hindus. No. Krishna is speaking to everyone, to his every son. It doesn't matter whether he is white or black or blue, it doesn't matter. These are skin disease. Krishna says that we don't take this body as yours. Asmin dehe, dehin asmin jathadehi, kaumanajum. This transformation of the body, that is natural. But within the body, the part and parcel of Krishna is there. That we have to understand. That's the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. We have to understand what is there within the body. That is the beginning of spiritual education. Unfortunately, the whole world is going on under the impression that I am this body. I am Indian, I am European. That is condemned in the Shastra. Jasyatma buddhi punapi dhatu sadhik kalatra disubhoma ijjadhi jatirtha buddhi salilena karihiti janesu avijnesu saeva gokha Go means cow, and khoro means ass. The Dasyatu buddhi kunapeti dhatu. This bag of three dhatus, kapha, pitta, vaya, if one takes it, that I am this body, I am Indian, I am American. So Shastra says, he is not even human being. Saiva Gokha. So this Krishna consciousness movement is very, very important from this angle of vision that everyone is thinking this body as he is. Nobody understands that he is within this body. Just like we are within this is dress. I am not this dress. This is the primary education of spiritual life. Unfortunately, it is very much lacking. And now you can see practically that these European and American boys, they are all young men, but they have forgotten the bodily relations. We have got in our institution Africans, Canadians, Australians, Europeans, Indians, but they do not consider with reference to this bodily concept of life. They live as eternal servant of Krishna. That is the instruction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jiver Sarup hoy Nitya Krishna Das. So actually, if we want to be happy, then we have to accept the principle of Srimad Bhagavatam, Jato Bhakti Radho Khaji. Bhakti comes out of love. You cannot make one forced to love you. It comes automatically. That automatic love is there in everyone's heart for Krishna. That is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadha Kavunay Savanadi Suddha Chitte Karaya Uday. Uday means it is awakening. Everyone has got love for Krishna within the heart. That is nature. But that love is distributed in different ways. How? Jasyatu buddhi kunapeti dhatake sadhik kalatradisu bhomoi jadhik. This love has been distributed family-wise, community-wise, nation-wise, country-wise, like that. This love has to be concentrated, converted to be love of Krishna. That is it. Then everything is perfect. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, and he practically Krishna Prema Pradhana. To develop love for somebody, that requires very elaborate process. It is not because we are in the darkness. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Manusyanam sahaseshu kaschin jatati siddhaye jatatam api siddhanam kaschin betimam. So we cannot understand even Krishna. What is Krishna? Actually, there are so many malinterpretations about Krishna. I do not wish to discuss because they have been made mistaken by big leaders. So people cannot understand even Krishna. What is Krishna? And what to speak of loving Krishna. That is very difficult. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he distributed this love of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda is standing before you, and he delivered many sinful persons to the transcendental position of love of Krishna. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Suto Hoilo Sei. Balaram Hoilo Nitai. This Balaram, he became Nitai, and Krishna, he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These two brothers, the same two brothers, Ram Lakshan, Krishna Balaram, again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. So what was their business? The papi tapi joto chilo hari name uddhari. This is their business. All the papis and all the persons suffering from material anxieties, they delivered, yes, how? Tara Sakhi Jagayar Madha. There are two brothers, Jagai and Madhai. They are very devotees. The devotees means what was the fault? The fault was that they took their birth in Brahmin family, but they became woman hunter and drunkards and cheaters like that. So Nityananda Prabhu delivered them to become first class Vaishnava. Papi tapi joto chilo hari name uddhari tara sakhi jagaya. So 500 years ago, to become a drunkard was most abominable, especially in the higher section of the Hindu society. But now it has become a fashion. So if you want to develop the position of the society, position of the country, which is now full with papi-tapi, you have to accept the process of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that is practically being manifested. These European American boys, they are also the same type, Jagaya Madhaya. That's a fact. They were at least. Now they are not. So how they have become delivered? The same process. Papi tapi jato chila, hari name uddharila. So this Krishna consciousness movement is so important, and there is practical result that you introduce this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenseless, not with offense. Then the world situation will improve very much. That's a fact. And it is being actually enacted in the present position. We are sending our men from village to village in Europe and America. We have introduced, we are taking advantage of the modern facilities. We are using this microphone for chanting Hare Krishna mantra. We are using nice buses, cars and wagons to go to village and distribute book and chant Hare Krishna. One of the leaders is present here, Sriman Tamal Krishna Goswami. He is controlling about 12 buses. And here is Hansudut also, he is doing the same in Germany. So we have introduced this as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered, Prithivite ache jato nagarajya. Throughout the whole world, as many villages and towns are there, these Sankirtan movement should be introduced. And especially in India, because if in India the people are generally Krishna conscious. By artificial means they are trying to forget. This is the position. This should be stopped. They have got natural tendency for becoming Krishna conscious. Therefore, in these days, still so many hundreds and thousands of people coming to Vrindavan to relish the transcendental mellow of Krishna consciousness. And now the foreigners are also attracted to Krishna consciousness, and I am trying to place them in our temple. This temple is one of them. We have got 4 or 5 temples in India, we are constructing one big temple in Hyderabad and we are getting good response. So, it is our request to the leaders of the society and to the people of India that they may take this Krishna conscious movement, Hare Krishna movement, very seriously. It will be good for everyone and the whole world will become peaceful. We do not expect that throughout the whole world everyone will take to Krishna consciousness. But even 5%, 2%, 3% people take to Krishna consciousness. There will be great example. Jat jat acharati srestha lokastat anuvartate. So our only request is that this simple thing, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama iva kevalam, Kalo nasti va nasti va nasti va gatirannatha. This formula of the Vedic Shastra. And you will be surprised. I invite you to come to our different centers in Europe and America. How they are chanting, dancing before the deity Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda or Radha Krishna. Recently I had been to Atlanta for the first time, but the boys and the girls, they have taken 3 big houses. The middle house has been transformed into temple. How nicely they are chanting and dancing. You will be surprised if you go. So this movement is undoubtedly increasing in the foreign countries. Why not in our country? So the government, the leaders and the guardians, they should deeply contemplate on the serious nature of this movement and help us. Now we are bringing men from the foreign countries to preach. How long I shall bring? If we want to spread this movement all over India very seriously, then we invite educated, intellectual, young men to come forward to study this movement. It is not blind, we have got books. We have already published about 50 books on this movement. So, for the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is meant for both kind of men. The ordinary man without any education, illiterate, he can also take to it, and the most advanced scientists, philosophers, philanthropists, politicians, they also can take it. So, we are helping both ways. Those who are educated, scientists, philosophers, for them we have got volumes of books. And those who are not educated, they can simply chant Hare Krishna. That will help them, both ways. Therefore, this movement has become important and interesting. Our books are being purchased by the topmost class of men, big professors in the universities. They are giving standing order. The books which are not published, they are putting standing order. Here our one sannyasi is present, Satsvarup, he is visiting the libraries, universities, professors, and we are getting very good response. So, don't take it as a sectarian movement. Don't misunderstand this movement as a CIA movement. These are all foolishness. Do you think that the Americans are so fools that for propagating their CIA movement they will become Vaishnava and chant and dance? The Americans have become so fools. No. They are taking it very seriously. They are not CIA, not American, nor European. They are Vaishnavas, they are servants of Krishna. Don't misunderstand them. And try to cooperate and help this movement for the benefit of the whole human society. Thank you very much.
Kalpatarubhishcha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nirvisesa Sanyavari Pasakacha De Satarani. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. This is the day we've all been waiting here. For us here in Vrindavan Temple, we've been thinking about this day for a very long time. I've been given a very difficult task, responsibility to say a few words this morning. 2 days ago you were hearing from Indrajumna Maharaj speaking about the ecstasy of the trees. I learned so much from that class the other day, how he was describing the trees, the entities that are there watching the rasa dance between Radha and Krishna. Such exalted personalities, the trees. And then yesterday you got to hear from Lokanath Maharaj. So that in itself was hard enough, following my two very senior godbrothers. But now you heard from Srila Prabhupada this morning, his lecture, his address at the opening. It was so much Srila Prabhupada. He started out establishing Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after doing that so nicely, he described us, not this body. We're not this body, servants of Krishna. And then he explained how to become servant of Krishna through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda. And again, Prabhupada himself on the altar. He said, my spiritual master is there, then I'm there, next to my spiritual master. Put himself on the altar while he was with us, opening this temple. One South Indian Brahmana said, I wasn't there, I don't know, but it said he questioned Prabhupada, how could you do that? Don't you know what you're doing by putting your murti on the altar? Millions of us, what do? You see this morning, thousands, tens of thousands, every day, tens of thousands of people offering their obeisances, praying, asking for blessings before their lordships. And the first one they see, Srila Prabhupada, taking his blessings, taking his mercy, his compassion. Please take all my sinful activities. We pray, we go before him. And that's what the man said. How are you going to do this? Don't you know the result of putting yourself on the altar? Prabhupada said, yes. That's why I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. He knew. All of us here, none of us are doing anything. Everything that happens in Krishna consciousness, every positive step that's taken, it's all by one person only, Srila Prabhupada. When you're with him for some time, even for a day or two, he can teach you so much just by his presence, by his movements, what to speak of his words. To be with Srila Prabhupada, you learned, I can't do anything but for your mercy. We say that all the time. I don't have many realizations, but I do have one. Anything I can do, somehow or other, if I can do any service at all, it's only because he allows it. Otherwise, Can't even lift the body up in the morning without his permission, without his sanction. One day he called his secretary into his room. Rings his bell, always servant go in, you offer obeisances. Huh? I've said so many times. One day I might offer obeisances 50 times. Maybe more. Just during lunch, 10, 12 times in 10 minutes. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Offer obeisances, offer obeisances. If you're there for more than 15 seconds, you have to offer them coming and going. If you're just there for a few seconds, just the one time. I say, Prabhupada never looked at me 2 in the afternoon and said, you've offered it your quota for today. That's enough. Just like Sankirtan devotees. There's no quota. It just goes more, 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 more. The more you do, the more you have to do. So he never said you've done it enough, because you can never do it enough. If you're not doing something actively, just leave your head down there on the ground, offer obeisances at those 2 lotus feet. He did all of this, and he continues to do 50 years later. So many wonderful things I've seen here over the last week, being with my god brothers, god sisters. Such a blessing he's given us. And I see that everyone, they have a personal relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Not just 1 or 2, not just his disciples, not just the ones that had the good fortune of being next to him for a few minutes, a few days, a few years. Everyone. He knows all of us better than we know ourselves. He knows us so well. And he has that relationship with us, always pushing us, always encouraging us so many ways. As Gunarnava said the other day, you had we say you have the rose and the thunderbolt. Me, I got to smell many, many roses with Srila Prabhupada. Only a few thunderbolts, because he was very kind. He knew I wasn't capable of absorbing so many thunderbolts. I definitely would have been electrocuted in his personal service. So he dealt with me very, very sweetly. Puppets. Puppets. One disciple said, Prabhupada, we're all just puppets in your hands. Prabhupada always knew exactly what to say. He said, yes, I want you to go like this, and you're going like this. Us senior people, we know puppets. He made just like the puppeteer with the strings, whatever, 4, 6 strings, whatever it may be. Though he's saying it looks identical. And what are we doing? The exact opposite of what he wants us to do. We think we're doing what he wants us to do. He always shows us exactly what he wants us to do. Exactly. I called his secretary. Prabhupada wants to see you. It often ended with that verb, now. As Gunarnava said, that was our favorite mantra. I say, in Prabhupada's entourage, because it meant he's going to give you the sauce. When you say Prabhupada wants to see you, people didn't become jubilant. They became an anxiety. Oh no, what did I do? We're always doing things this way instead of this way. We're trying this way, but we're doing this way somehow or other. But his entourage, we enjoyed it because he's going to chastise you now. I've already been chastised today, once, twice, 3 times. Now your turn. Such a pleasure. He called in his secretary. He comes in, offers obeisances. He looked at him. You don't move a pin on my desk from here to here. That's what it means to be a devotee. That's what it means to have a spiritual master. You don't take a step unless you know where that step is going, according to his desire. I knew I was going to speak today. I had no idea. So many things have come into my head. This morning, everyone see the impossible happened this morning, huh? The day of the opening. Prabhupada wanted Krishna Balaram, Shri Gaurnitai, Radhashama Sundar, and he said, and the Astasakis. It's not possible, Prabhupada. There's no room on the altar. Okay, Lalita Vishaka. 50 years later, Astasakis are on the altar. I don't often go on the altar for the deity greeting in the morning, but this morning I did. I do go on there sometimes, offer artik and things. But I went in there this morning, and I was by Krishna Balaram. I was holding the fan. They let me have the fan so I could fan them when it was open this morning. You see how beautiful Krishna Balaram. This was our desire. The pujaris this morning, before the doors were open, you should have seen all the pujaris this morning. It was like 50 years ago. It was like the first time, all over again. Like the first time, they were so excited. And they all had, we don't allow phones on the altar. But they all had their phones, and on the phone was the picture of their for the opening. And they're looking at the garlands, and they're trying to adjust the garlands and make the crowns. And they were so excited and so happy. They became part, like we all have. We became part of the grand opening. No different today, 50 years ago. Grand opening today. Every day. It's a grand opening when we open those doors. Every day. Prabhupada said every day is festival. Every day is new. Every day is fresh. But I was standing there with the chamara fan. And I saw Krishna's face. And I've seen, I look at his face sometimes, look at his feet more. But he had this look on his face. And it was a look I hadn't noticed previously. And it could just be my imagination. Anyone can think. But it was a very special look. I don't know how to describe that look. One of great joy, happiness, pride, looking out over everyone. Almost like a smirk. He had this amazing look. And then after some time I thought, well, I'll go to the other side because I'll see a different expression. But I didn't. I saw the same expression, this happiness, this 50 years since Srila Prabhupada opened this temple. 50 years have gone by. I know as a person in my 70s now, I think, well, yeah, we remember like yesterday, the 70s. Huh? I don't think a lot in terms of so much time has passed. But today I'm thinking so much time has passed, 50 years, a half a century. This temple is more magnificent than ever. Krishna Balaram, they're just more beautiful every time you see them. And then I went to Radhashama Sundar's altar. And I saw Radharani's face. And she had the same look on her face. This look, I don't even know how to describe it other than just sheer ecstasy. Just ecstasy. What they're giving us. All through Srila Prabhupada. All by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. I can only say my own self as an example. Of course, I traveled with Prabhupada. After the first year, I never wanted to go to India, even with Srila Prabhupada. It was like, go get sick. That's all I knew. Going to India, okay, I'll be sick. So I didn't. And of course, after he left, I made my regular visits here to Vrindavan Temple. Mayapur, not so much. But Vrindavan, somehow or other, I had this come to Vrindavan. Anyway, it was 5 years ago. We came here again for a visit, went to Africa, South Africa, then came back and lockdown happened. Literally got locked up by Krishna Balaram. I have one kurta, stripes. My temple president always says, when he sees it, he says, I look like a prisoner. I say, I am. They've imprisoned me here. In my wildest dreams, I never thought I would live at Krishna Balaram Mandir. I would always say, I don't want to live in Vrindavan, I want to die in Vrindavan. But Prabhupada he's a magician. Like he said, so many Jagai Madais. All of us, not you pious Indians, no, us Americans, all Jagai Madais. Prabhupada turned us into Vaishnavas. He was so proud. He was proud of his disciples, proud of the Lord, proud of Lord Chaitanya, giving the holy name every town and village. So happy. Srila Prabhupada did that. And it didn't come easy, even for a pure devotee. Sometimes we have that thought, I'm a devotee. Things should get easier. When I joined, I was with Prabhupada from August 72 until the very end of 1973. When I left, got married, went to Caracas, Venezuela. After 6 months, that wasn't working out anymore. Myself and my wife, who was now pregnant, wound up back in New Vrindavan after Kuladri called me up once or twice, come back to New Vrindavan, come back to New Vrindavan. So I finally went back to New Vrindavan. I didn't know what I was doing. 2 weeks later, Prabhupada was back in New Vrindavan. And the day before he left, just like it was 2 years before, the day before he left, this time Brahmananda came up to me. Do you want to be Prabhupada's servant? You know what I said? Where's he going? Imagine such a nonsense. I said, where's he going? And he told me, India. I don't know. He didn't say we're going to India, we're going to have the grand opening of the Krishna Balaram. We didn't speak like that. In Prabhupada's circle, you were just with Prabhupada. Whatever was going on, you were with Prabhupada, that's all. He said, India. And I looked up at this little Prabhupada thatched roof hut that we were living in. My wife was in there, I guess. And I looked at Brahmananda and I said, yes, I'll come. I didn't know I was coming to Vrindavan immediately. Prabhupada came to Vrindavan for the grand opening of this temple. And of course, as you've heard over and over again, it was nowhere near opening. Looking back, I can't even imagine how Srila Prabhupada contained himself. We'd invited everyone to come to this opening. I remember lots of chastisements going on. I was always like sitting in the corner. I would always find myself in the room. Saurabh, oh, Krishna. He was Dutch descent. We're not these bodies, but we have certain qualities. He could absorb everything Prabhupada said very comfortably. I would be in anxiety watching Prabhupada chastise him. Saurabh, he was okay. He was okay. But my sphere of activities was very small. Just like the planet, I guess, you have the earth and the moon just going round and round. That's all I did. I just went round and round Prabhupada all day long, every day. It's all I knew. I didn't know who's coming, who's going, big GBCs, big sannyasis, book distributors, so many big, wonderful devotees, and I'm just this little planet or whatever, auxiliary thing, just being there. Does Prabhupada need his cane? Does he need his shoes? What's he eating today? Is the water temperature okay? Put the clothes out on the bed. I didn't know anything about grand opening festival. Sometimes I think when they ask me to speak, I'm thinking, I don't remember anything. I see the videos. I see me standing there next to Prabhupada, walking around Vrindavan with elephants. I don't remember elephants. I just remember being next to Prabhupada, keeping people away. Don't step on his feet. Don't get too close. Don't do this, don't do that. Daiva Shakti Mataji, she described the same. She had his area, Prabhupada's house, getting his meals ready, everything on time. We all had our particular services. And mine revolved around this person who was doing everything all around the world, and at the same time preparing for the opening of this temple. He made it look so easy. He made it look like it was simple. Every temple. I was in Melbourne when he installed the deities, Bhaktivedanta Manor when he installed the deities, Paris when he installed the deities. So many places. From my foolish understanding, this was just another place he was coming and he was installing deities. Took me 50 years living here. This is Prabhupada's home. These deities, these are the deities in his home that he designed. To be able to stand before these deities. This is like a large living room here for all of us to take shelter. Srila Prabhupada, Gaur Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Shyama Sundar. He gave that to us. He gave it to the whole world. But especially I see with all of you, my godbrothers, godsisters, and all of you, how Prabhupada brings us home. And like any home filled with many, many children, grandchildren, what do we say? It's functional, dysfunctional, whatever it is, this is our home. We're all coming home. You know the famous letter, one of my godbrothers, sannyasi, who talked about, Guru Kripa talked about the Hari Bowlers as Siddhaswarupananda's devotees. They were very loyal to him. The rest of, even he joined ISKCON, not so much ISKCON. They were beholden to Siddhaswarupananda Goswami. And one of his chief followers, who was also sannyasi and temple president in New Zealand and in Australia, he wrote Prabhupada, dissatisfied working within ISKCON. And he saw that Siddha, he was pure devotee. I only want to work with pure devotees. First, Prabhupada said, He said he wanted to back off from temple management. Prabhupada was not happy. And in a letter, few sentences, he said very briefly, as much as he could say, I think without your presence, it won't go on. The temple will not go on. But what can I say? You're a volunteer. We're all volunteers. He understood I cannot force you. I've seen that again and again. I can't force you. Because we didn't have any big salaries, nor little salary. We had no salary. So we were all volunteers. He said, but if that's what you want to do, then you just chant Hare Krishna. But he said, I think you misunderstand this idea of pure devotee. Who is a pure devotee? He said, your Siddha Swarup, he is pure devotee. He said, also a Siddha Swarup, he is pure devotee. Shyama Sundar, he is pure devotee. And he started the list. They're all pure devotees. He said, don't misunderstand. Don't start a faction. 1972, Prabhupada said this. Not 1982, 1992, not 1976, 1972. Don't start a faction. He said, all of my disciples, they're pure devotees. Siddha Swarup, Asiddha Swarup, Shyama Sundar, I don't know if we mentioned others' names. He said, in all of us, all of you, go back to the spiritual world. ISKCON, he said, ISKCON. And all of you will be coming there, except Mr. Nair. That was one. Mr. Nair. There was one other, 1976. His Sanskrit editor, certainly not Pradyumna, most blessed soul, Pradyumna Prabhu. Another one, Sanskrit scholar, wannabe, came into Prabhupada's room one day, asked Prabhupada, can you please find me bona fide spiritual master? Imagine the arrogance. Prabhupada just looked. Gunardeva was telling us the story yesterday. He was telling me. He was in the room. He started to walk out. This boy, as Prabhupada just looked at him. And Prabhupada said, you have my blessings to never find a bona fide spiritual master. Imagine. Imagine the offense. Afterwards, Prabhupada said, so no one associate with this snake. Called him a snake. And he said, the nerve of him. I'm not bona fide, but he's asking me who is bona fide. Such a nonsense, such a fool, huh? He's thinking I'm not a bona fide guru. Who am I to tell him who's bona fide spiritual master? Such rascaldom. In his very words, he showed such rascaldom. Such rascaldom. I don't know as time went on, but I can tell you if that same person came, offered a obeisance, said, Prabhupada, I'm so sorry, Prabhupada would just take him and embrace him. That's Srila Prabhupada. And somehow or other being here. This home is for all of us. You may be very, very advanced devotee. You may be very fallen devotee. But it's Prabhupada's home. And from the spiritual world, not just from the spiritual world, he was always in the spiritual world. You heard Guru Kripa yesterday. When Prabhupada came from Africa, didn't have his yellow fever certificate. We've all heard that story. And Prabhupada finally said, opportunity to rest. That's what he did for a few days. He accepted for a few days. I'll rest for a few days, chant Hare Krishna. Because it happened. But then as Brahmananda said, when that man said, well, we have to see if you have yellow fever. And I've heard this story in different ways, but Prabhupada said, not possible for a pure devotee to contract any material disease. Not possible. You know, I was with Prabhupada a long time, 72, 73, 74, 75, different times. Every meal I gave Prabhupada sweets, it was milk sweets. Breakfast, Sandesh was there. Lunchtime, Rasgullas and Burfi is there. Dinner time, 9 o'clock at night, puri, sabji, more sweets were there. Hot milk with sugar was there. Sometimes I hear those words, Prabhupada had diabetes. And I think, no. Not possible. Who says these things? Pure devotee, completely transcendental, spiritual, no material disease ever. Once Prabhupada at nighttime in Juhu told me a story while I was massaging him. How his mother would make puffed rice, evening, muri, Prabhupada's favorite. Two of his favorite things, muri and nimbu pani. We're having that most every night. Muri and nimbu pani, Prabhupada's favorites. When you eat it, you can remember Prabhupada. When you drink it, we say water, the taste of Krishna. The taste of Srila Prabhupada is nimbu pani. When I was dying in the room right there, Prabhupada went through the room. Get Shrutakirti a bed. Call him a doctor. Everyone's just eating prasadam. He said, call him a doctor. Get him a bed. And give him a nimbu pani. It was the sweetest nimbu pani. Just knowing Prabhupada gave me nimbu pani. So Prabhupada's telling me this story. When I was young, maybe 5, 6 years old, I told my mother I want puris. His mother said, no, too late. Difficult to digest. I'll make muri. You never tell Prabhupada what to do. From birth, no one could tell him what to do. Not his mother, not his father, not anyone. Only Guru could tell him what to do. So again, we know 3 times, I want puris and sabji. The mother said, no. I'll make you muri. So finally, 3rd time, Prabhupada said, I want puris. And his father said, if he wants puris, give him puris. And I was massaging Prabhupada's feet, and he looked at me. He said, perhaps my father knew. That's all he said. Perhaps my father knew. That this person, just like Krishna appeared here 5,000 years, Prabhupada appeared here to give Krishna to everyone. Just over 100 years ago, he appeared from the spiritual world, and he was always in the spiritual world. Never had a disease. Anyone comes up to me again and talks about Prabhupada's, I'm going to slap him. No, we were his disease, accepting all of us as his disciples. He was so ill, 1974, over a month. Didn't eat. We've heard stories. Tamal tree was there, everything not anywhere near finished. But the governor came, governor of UP came. Prabhupada had to meet him. He was going to supply us with bricks and cement. Right? We know it can only be gotten through government paperwork. So that day, Prabhupada he didn't leave bed, only to use the bathroom. I would carry him into the bathroom. Then he'd go back, lie down in bed. But now the governor's here. I was sitting, Prabhupada, on the floor. He looked at me. He said, shave my face. For all you who like to grow beards, so many reasons to have beards, Prabhupada said, no. Prabhupada had shaved 2 days before, but he was going to be out here, meet the governor. And he told me, shave my face. I did many different services for Srila Prabhupada. That was one of the most fearful things I ever did. Had to move his face this way, that way. His beautiful face. And he sat very still. I shaved his face. Then he washed up, cloth, everything. And he put tilak on. And I went out of the room. And I heard the bell ring. I went back, I offered obeisances, and he looked at me. He said, it's time to go. He said, do I have tilak on? He had just put it on 2 minutes before. His fever was raging. Do I have tilak on? I said, yes, Prabhupada, you have tilak on. He said, okay, let's go. I took him from the house, my arms under his armpits, walked him, he sat down. He spoke like he would speak every day. Hadn't eaten for a month. Spoke 15 minutes or so. Thanked the governor, how important this temple is. Just like in this lecture he said. Wanted something you Indians, your business, he said, to spread the holy name all over the world. Especially you people born here in Barsha. Your business. At that time, where are these Indians? There are no Indians. 4, 5, 6. Now, 5, 6 million. They're all over, everywhere, preaching the holy name. But that was Srila Prabhupada. It didn't come easy opening this temple. He gave his life to open this temple. Krishna gave him another life. He came back. Then as he started to feel better, he would sit under the tamal tree. That was his sitting place, under the tamal tree, just on that side, in his rocking chair. And I'd sit on the marble floor next to him. And he would say things. He told me, don't let anyone touch my feet. Diabetes. No diabetes. You're all giving him all your karma. We're all giving him our karma. He said, don't let anyone touch my feet. He said, they all want blessings, this reason, that reason. He said, but it affects. I said, and your disciple, even my disciples, he said, should not touch. And then he said, this illness, wasn't malaria, wasn't pneumonia, wasn't this and that. He said, this illness is because 80% of my leaders are not following. He said that to me 3 times over the course of a week. That was how he saw things. not a material body to think. So this pure devotee of the Lord, he continues to absorb so much to spread Krishna consciousness. Everything he's doing. If we want, we can be those puppets. We can be those puppets assisting him. Prabhupada knew always perfectly what to do. As he traveled around the world, I've said often, he would go to certain temples. Give me Raj Bhog. He would ask for Raj Bhog for lunch. I was cooking. I was traveling with him for the purpose of cooking. Giving massage and cooking were two of my most activities. But sometimes he'd arrive and it was always the very first day. First day. Because he would greet the deities. We greet the deities. But his deity greeting, I think, was very different than our deity greeting. At least certainly different than my deity greeting. But I can think so many things, offer prayers and all. But Krishna not talking back that I hear. But Prabhupada, he talked very freely with Krishna, Radha Krishna. And whenever he asked for the Raj Bhog offering, it was because Krishna wasn't happy with it. And consequently, Prabhupada wasn't going to like it. I learned after the first time, second time, third time, same thing. It was always the same. I come into his room, put the deity plates right on his table. No transferring, the deity plates, just like Prabhupada's there. He'll put it on the table. He would always taste the dal first. Tastes like mud. Mud. Who knows what mud tastes like? Krishna knows what mud tastes like. Prabhupada knows what mud tastes like. Who is this person? He would say, it tastes like mud. Then he'd grab the puri. Puri's bad. Sabjis, they always had that same brown look. Everything looked the same. Could have 5 different sabjis. They all looked brown and gushy. Gushy sabji. So he'd be upset. This is what you're feeding the Lord. And he knew it. Traveling around the world, he knew it. He installed these deities everywhere around the world. So many deity installations. And it was his business to take care of them. It was his service to feed them. We're just all instruments. We have to think like that. How is Prabhupada cooking like this? What do the deities want? Not what do I want? So many things are there, huh? When the pujari puts the plate for the deities offering. Not that you put it down and you're saying your mantras and you're looking, well, I'll take this when I'm done and I'll take this when I'm done. No, that's not the mood. That's not Prabhupada's mood. So it's very wonderful. This festival's been so delightful. We've been waiting anxiously to see all Prabhupada's so many wonderful disciples, grand disciples here have done so much service. We know big names helped build this temple, but all of you have taken part in making this temple. And this temple is your home. Last night, Panchagoda, he mentioned a devotee care facility that's going up just behind the temple here to house as many of Prabhupada's disciples as we can. If you come here, everywhere Prabhupada's blessings are there. Here you get lots of blessings here. There's a lot of austerity here. I learned that traveling with Srila Prabhupada. You get blessings through austerity by doing something. When I was with him after a year, and I felt jealous. Everyone arriving at Los Angeles airport, 200 devotees jumping up and down, laughing, crying, banging on mridungas, cartels, in ecstasy. And I'm right behind Prabhupada, right next to him. Didn't feel anything. Didn't feel anything. I'd been with him for a year. And I was jealous. They're all in ecstasy. I'm not in ecstasy. Went on like that the whole day. Prabhupada gets back to the temple. I'm doing everything. I'm massaging him. And I said it to him as I was massaging him. I was in so much Maya. I revealed my mind to him. Probably one of the only times I said, Prabhupada, I don't feel anything. Oh my God, brother, they're all in ecstasy, laughing, crying, dancing, chanting. I said, they love you so much. I don't feel anything. And I'm massaging his back. And in my own nonsense way, I'm looking for him to say something. He didn't say anything. So not only am I'm a big nonsense fool, but now I've even told him what a fool I am, what a nonsense I am. Dried up. So then massage was over, he goes take bath, I lay his clothes out on the bed, set everything up on the table, open up the compact mirror so he can see his face when he puts tilak on. Set all that up. Go finish lunch, empty the cooker, turn them into sabjis, 3-4 sabjis. Rice, dal is there, make chances for everything. Roll out a chapati. Then Prabhupada takes lunch, running back and forth. 1 chapati, 2 chapati, 3 chapati, 4. We grew up with that song, right? 5 chapati, 6 chapati. You just keep bringing him till you get that certain nod. Then that meant no more chapatis. He didn't say anything to me. Then he finishes lunch, he takes a nap, I clean all the plates, transfer the Mahaprasadam, distribute it to everyone. And I heard the bell ring. So I go in the room and I offer obeisances. And I sit up, and he looks right into my eyes. Do you like your service? By that time I was just doing service. I said, yes, Prabhupada, very much. He said, service is love. He looked at me again, he said, service is love. He said, you just keep doing your service, everything will be all right. And then he just put his head down. So off and on ever since, I've been trying that method. Just do something. So I say, Prabhupada, he could have made money selling that to Nike many, many years ago. Just do it. That was Prabhupada's mantra. He had a few mantras. Hare Krishna mantra was, another mantra was that. People would come in and should do like this, we can do like that. He said, just do it. Don't even need to tell me. Take that risk. Last lecture about Prabhupada, taking risks. That's who we follow. Person always taking risks for Krishna. We can just chant Hare Krishna, sit back comfortably. But if you take risks for Krishna, you take a risk even to come in, to live in Vrindavan, 75 years old, that's a risk. Yes, it's a risk. But what, we're all going to die today, tomorrow. How big a risk? No more risk. That was Prabhupada, always taking risk. So I'm going to be ending here soon. See, the question was, say something about the first arati. I see from here, Krishna Balaram look so much like they did 50 years ago. We have to thank everyone involved. What a wonderful thing they did to bring back these memories to such a place in the heart of all of us who were here 50 years ago. Thank you. Now these pujaris, Prabhupada said pujari means you never leave the deity. And personal servant means the same thing, I found out. You don't ever leave. If he calls you, you better be there. And that's all of our position. It's not a unique status for 1, 2, 5 people. Everyone, we always have to be there to carry out the will of Srila Prabhupada. And all success will be there. But we've heard different stories. I don't have much to add. Again, I remember from my perspective, wherever Prabhupada went, I got to be there. So that was automatic. So I've seen photographs and even videos as Prabhupada offered the artik. And of course, just like now, other pujaris like to be on the altar too, when the deities are having artik offered. So Brahmananda was there. He was doing the assisting, Brahmananda, giving Prabhupada the different articles. Bhavananda was there, off to the side, just because that's where you wanted to be. And I was back a little further. Prabhupada, of course, had his kurta on. The others, I don't know. Me, I was in it wearing a t-shirt, so that was our situation back then. And Prabhupada, watching Prabhupada, you'll see, when you see the videos, Prabhupada offering artik, how it's focus. How focused Srila Prabhupada is on doing the artik. And I saw that look when I saw Krishna's face this morning. I saw that look that you see on Srila Prabhupada's face. There's that same look, giving blessings, all of you, everyone, giving you all blessings. That's the look I saw on the deities this morning. It's the look that was on Srila Prabhupada's face when we saw him with the fanning. 50th anniversary. Then we'll have the 100th, the 200th, the 500th. This temple here in Raman Reti, such a special place. So many temples are there. The saintly person, they walked in those places. Rupa Goswami Samadhi, Bhajan Kutir, sacred place. Then Prabhupada places his lotus feet there. And here, Prabhupada's lotus feet, every inch, every square inch, Prabhupada walking here, walking there, offering obeisances here, living in his room there. To come to this place, we know Prabhupada brought Vrindavan everywhere. But Vrindavan is here. And Prabhupada wanted everyone who come here. We're already inspired the management for next year. I want to do the same festival all over again. Every day, festival. And we want all of you to come back for the 51st. Don't wait 10 years. We might all still be here next year. I want you to come every year to this place, as Prabhupada wanted. This is what we want to see. And personally, we'll see that. We'll have Julian Yatra. We'll have the boat festival. And these Astasakis, I don't know, they may just stay there on the altar now. I don't know who's going to have the courage to take them down at the end of the day. Not me, not me. So I should stop here. I don't know if they have anyone else to say a few words. Pritu Prabhu. And 10:15, as you know, Abhishek will begin there on all three altars. So everyone find your places. And thank you all for sitting here and listening to me for a few minutes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
There was just one thing I wanted to say. Prophet doctor, not Gupta. He was his doctor, and the 30 days before he came to the West, he told me that whenever he would go to Delhi, he would come by this property on a Tonga to get a bus to Delhi. And he saw Prabhupada sitting under this tree, playing cards and singing Hare Krishna mantra completely by himself. That's 10 years before this temple was being built. The Prabhupada ki jai.
What time is it? 9:30. Okay.
Everyone
Hare
please
Krishna.
sit down. Dinabandhu Prabhu is speaking. Please take my time for the Abhishek. Abhishek will be at 10 o'clock, so please sit down.
So I was also very fortunate to be here for the grand opening in 1975. And like everyone said, there was this bamboo house with straw roof in this particular corner over here with all kinds of water pots. We'd never seen things like this. And, all these Brahmins, big fat Brahmins, chanting all these mantras and doing all these rituals, and sometimes calling Prabhupada. But Prabhupada himself, he said, this 24-hour, he told us, you just do 24-hour kirtan. That is the real installation. So he was going on with all the things that were going on. And I remember one day, Prabhupada came and he was sitting there in the house, that little straw house, and the Brahmins were doing all their things. And has anybody seen many clouds since you've been here this time of year? But that particular day, so many clouds were in the sky. And at least from my point of view, they were all circumambulating around this courtyard where Prabhupada was sitting. And the whole time I was, for a month we hadn't seen a cloud. And even now, we're not seeing clouds, maybe a little bit, but heavy clouds. So from my point of view, all the demigods came down to watch Prabhupada open this Krishna Balaram temple. Just that one day, all the clouds were there. And I can remember the procession, but everybody was just looking at Prabhupada. So I don't know if we had the Utsav deities or what we had on the pelican. There was a big pelican, and Prabhupada also was on a pelican, but he decided to walk. And Smarhari was telling the other day that he met Mr. Patak. There was a very senior Brahmin in this community of Vrindavan named Banwarilal Patak. When Prabhupada, after the Delhi Pandal, he brought the devotees here for the first time to take them all around on Prikrama. They stayed in Banwarilal Pathak's house. He was actually a head of the trust that ran Fogel Ashram. And when we just saw Siddhanta's videos, he was walking right next to Prabhupada. And I have been to other programs, non-ISKCON programs, like the Research Institute or somewhere else. He never failed to talk about Prabhupada. It wasn't an ISKCON program, but he'd always talk about Prabhupada. He had great respect and love for Prabhupada. And I was thinking one day, when I wasn't president, I was, I guess Kadamba was the president, and I was sitting in the office outside in the anteroom. And Mr. Pathak came because in the old days we used to keep everybody stayed at Fogel Ashram. Now we don't even look at it from the corner of our eyes, but that's where we all stayed. Everyone just came and we stayed at Fogel Ashram. So he had come to negotiate, the thing. And I was sitting with him, and he looked at me and he said, we Brishbasis are very proud of Srila Prabhupada. And I thought, this is very far out. Because Brishbasis, they don't care. It's not, sometimes you think because you're foreigners they're making fun of you. They don't care about anybody. They're pulling Krishna by the ear, chasing him with a stick. They don't care about anybody. And he said, we're very proud of your Srila Prabhupada. And I was shocked. How can a Brishbasi say like this, And we said, why is that? He said, we have seen so many people come. And everybody was coming to their ashram, all the big officers, everybody was coming, so many thousand people coming. As soon as that person is gone, that saint is gone, then you see their ashram completely empty. Nobody's there. He named a few people, we won't name. He said, ISKCON, we see, first of all, your temple is clean. I preached all over UP, MP, and Rajasthan. And everywhere I heard the same thing, 3 things from people. Your temple was clean. Everybody, even just sweeping this temple is preaching. He said, first of all, your temple is clean. Second of all, the deities are just astounding, and their worship is just astounding. And third thing they say, oh, I'm gad ho gaya. I became speechless. Just seeing the 7 evening arti, Sandhya arti, seeing that Sandhya arti, I became speechless. 3 things that everybody talks about. So Mr. Pathak said, we come here, your temple is clean, the kirtan is going on, artik is going on, everything is going on. Your ISKCON has outlived Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, we're very proud of him. It's true, I see so many big ashrams, they're just empty now. But here we see, even 4:30 in the morning, there's no place to stand. It's become the fashion. If you're in Vrindavan overnight, you have to go 4:30 in the morning to the ISKCON to see the Arti, Mangal Arti. You can't even find a place to stand, Luckily for us elders, they leave a little space for us, but you can't find. And they told Prabhupada in the beginning when he opened this temple, why did you build your temple out there? Who's going to go? Who will go there? Like devotees have been telling me, couldn't even get a rickshaw to come here. And all the rickshawalas, he used to say, Angraj Mandir. Angraj is the Hindi for somebody from Britain, actually. But so anybody who was white was British. So Angraj Mandir. Now everybody says, ISKCON, ISKCON. All the rickshawalas, ISKCON, ISKCON. You're down in Loiva, ISKCON, ISKCON. So, but I was remembering, because everybody's talking about it, but I just remember that first artik. I was up in the darshan mandap, in the front of the temple. And all of a sudden, Prabhupada blew the conch shell, the curtains opened up, everyone surged forward. And I was just a young kid, that was 50 years ago. And this is the only second time I'd ever been out of the country. People lifted me right off my feet, and I had read so many articles, we didn't have CNN then, but so many articles about, stampedes and people getting trampled to death, and I was I'm going to die. somehow or other, those moments you get such special power. I just pushed my way through the crowd to the courtyard and turned around, and I saw Prabhupada offering the arti. And with every article, when he turned around to offer to the crowd, he had a smile. We've heard Prabhupada say, full satisfaction. You saw that smile. When Prabhupada said full satisfaction, you knew what full satisfaction, that smile was there. And then he offered the ghee lamp, and he turned around, and that smile was even greater. Then he offered the camphor lamp. The smile was even greater. When he finally, we got that picture, we heard the story. The Tripurari was standing there right in front of the Krishna Balaram, and Visakha, she was tapping him on the shoulder, lady tapping a sannyasi in the shoulder, unheard of, And finally she said, look, you can see this, but if I can get that picture, the whole world will see this. And Tripurari said, yeah, that's right. She's right. So he moved aside. She got that picture. When Prabhupada offered that peacock fan, that smile was beyond full satisfaction. That smile was so wonderful, beyond full satisfaction. That's what I said. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. And we were hearing about this nice tamal tree. And just now, if you look closely, Indradyumna, he gave such a wonderful class. He missed one slok. In Vidagdha Madhav, Radharani's feeling so much separation from Krishna. And she tells Lalita Sakhi, I'm unable to maintain my life. So when I die, you take my body and drape it in the tamal tree so that I can embrace this tamal tree. So that's how special tamal. This is one verse he missed, but it's so special. And right now, if you look closely, especially where the sun comes, it's beginning to bloom. Thousands and thousands of little off yellow bell-shaped flowers are going to come on this tamal tree. The new leaves. This is a strange tree. All other trees lose their leaves in the cold season. This one loses its leaves in the springtime. And now all the fresh leaves have come, and if you touch them, the Goswamis, they always describe Krishna's touch like palav. Palav means freshly grown leaf. And especially you touch these freshly grown tamal leaves. You get, of course, it's a material thing, but you get some idea what Krishna's touch is like. And now millions and millions of little flowers are going to come. It's a blooming. He was mentioning so many scriptures there, verses about the blooming tamal tree. And you're so fortunate to be here. The tamal tree is blooming with its fresh leaves. I showed this to one devotee from 26 Second Avenue. When he felt that tamal leaf, he said, because somebody taught us how to do tilak. I can't even remember who taught me how to do tilak. Maybe you can, I can't. But at 26th Avenue, there's only one person to teach anyone how to put tilak. He said when Prabhupada was putting his finger like that, that's what Prabhupada's finger felt like, this freshly grown tamal leaf. And it was just so wonderful when we saw the deities, we saw that beautiful smile of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada practically, just like we're having the Bandara here next door by the construction site, Prabhupada was feeding everybody. He loved prasad distribution. So he was feeding everyone. So and it's been so wonderful seeing all of our wonderful God brothers here. Some we haven't seen for years and years. Just like Shruti Kirti was saying, you have to come back for the 51st. Hardly any of us are going to make it to the 60th. Some of us all didn't make it for the 50th. But at least you come for the 51st, the 52nd at least. It's so wonderful. This temple was built for you. This Prabhupada struggled so hard. We heard he was raging fever. And just lying in the bed, suddenly he got up. He talked just like normal with the governor. Because those days it wasn't you just went to the cement, go down and you bought cement. You had to get permission from the government. It was a whole thing. And Prabhupada was so concerned. He got up, he put on, he had such a fever that 2 minutes ago he just put on his tilak. He asked Shruti Kirti, do I have tilak? Prabhupada sacrificed everything to build this temple for you. This is your temple. Prabhupada has given it for you. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Krishna Balarama ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishna Balaram Golden Jubilee ki! So maybe there's somebody else who would like to say something. I'll just put my voice to rest here. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else would like to speak? We still have 15 minutes time. Shraddha Prabhu.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नामस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी नमो विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने भक्ति नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय हे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Suddenly I was called to speak. There's so many senior devotees who were there at that time. I thought, okay, let me speak, try to recollect those days. I come from Hyderabad, so we have the whole temple moved in here to help with whatever services we have. And the festival was, as previously our godbrothers have already described, that there was this pandits, the priests, they were doing homa and this and that, so many things. But Prabhupada told us, just keep on chanting Hare Krishna. Our process of installing the Lord is by kirtan. And they did different mantras to open the eyesight and this and that. We were interested only in seeing what Prabhupada likes, what Prabhupada wanted us to do. And we just did kirtan and kirtan and kirtan, non-stop kirtan. Of course, there are so many things. Some of the devotees who were close to Prabhupada in service, they could say many things. And I was being a life member of ISKCON. In those days it was 1,111 rupees. So I became a life member by installment. So they gave me the books, about 7 to 8 books. So I read the Bhagavad Gita, just the introduction. Then I realized, why am I wasting my time serving some corporation, this and that? Let me just assist Prabhupada with the simple understanding. You know, when you have a job, you have salary, you think you are independent. But when I read the verse, Yogakshemam Mahamyam, I thought, who can give a better guarantee than Krishna? He is maintaining the whole universe. Most of them don't even believe in Krishna, don't even know that Krishna is existing. All the animals, the birds, the trees, they're all being maintained by Krishna. So why should I doubt Krishna? So I just joined, chalo, I serve Prabhupada, and we never had any salary, no retirement benefit, nothing. We just joined to be part of this revolutionary movement which Prabhupada created. And of course, we were in South India, we didn't go to America or anything like that. But we had the good fortune, Prabhupada would go to Mayapur first, and then he comes to Hyderabad. We had a Pandal program. And from Hyderabad, he would go to Vrindavan. This is the triangle. So it was a good fortune for us, that he was coming to Hyderabad every year. And we thought it was fantastic. You know, it was a big exhibition ground 5,000 people at least would come. And in India, Krishna consciousness was quite new. Not many Indians would come. And at the same time, when the movement started in India, this one Bollywood director started this Hare Krishna, Hare Ram movie. So everybody, it means people who take dope and then they chant and dance. They take drugs and chant and dance. Nobody thought it was something very real thing. So those who have read Prabhupada's books, that was our good fortune. We read our Prabhupada's books. We had a completely different understanding. Understanding was based on this culture of Krishna consciousness. We should have started much earlier, but we started when Prabhupada came. So we were not contaminated by any philosophy, any reading, any search for guru. Neither I was looking for a guru, not even God also. I was not looking for anybody. But when I read Prabhupada's books, then everything started. And we came to here, Vrindavan. And that time everything was under construction. We had a kitchen in the backside. And then we were sitting down and eating prasadam on the way to the Russian house. We were sitting on the floor. It was a hot weather. But we never expressed anything uncomfortable. Nobody expressed any problems. We were just happy because Prabhupada was there. See, if Prabhupada is there, it's like the rain cloud. Samsara dhava nalalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatam. He's like the cloud, and when he is there, we have no problems. The problems were there, might have been there, but we don't know. We were very small time devotees, brahmacharis. We were not worried about the management and this and that. At that level, there might have been problems. But when we came to Vrindavan, the amazing thing is we were doing non-stop kirtan. This is a special feature of Vrindavan opening. And nowadays also devotees are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And I was just chanting 4 rounds a day when I came to Vrindavan. So naturally my name was not there in the initiation list. So I was happy, chalo bhai, I don't have to worry about it. When I chant my 16 rounds, I'll approach Prabhupada. So there was the Yajna Kund was there. Next day after the Ram Navami was the initiation. Right here. And Achyutananda, at that time Achyutananda Swami, he was conducting the fire sacrifice. And he saw me, I was standing near the Yajna Kunda. There was a big raised platform. Gaur Govinda Maharaj was taking sannyas and many devotees were there. So he looked at me, he said, Ram, what are you doing standing there? Oh, I am observing the proceedings. So no, you should sit on the fire sacrifice. So Maharaj, I am just standing 4 rounds, where is the hurry? I am not in a hurry at all. So he said, no, you must immediately sit. And he told Satswarup Maharaj, asked Prabhupada to chant, and immediately initiation was given. So we were just fortunate, I always say, how is it? Well, that's what is stated in the Shastras. Konya Bhagwan Jiva, Guru Krishna Ta, what is that word? What is the verse line before that? Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. We were not looking for anything. Suddenly we were Bhagyavan. That's all we can say. We got the seed of bhakti from Prabhupada, and we are still cultivating that. Hopefully, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, we'll give up our craziness and madness and independence and so many things, and follow in its footsteps of how to honor Vaishnavas, how to honor senior devotees. And there were many Gaudiya Vaishnavas who would come here to our Prabhupada. Prabhupada would especially send his car all the way to Mathura to bring Narayan Maharaj here. And he would have many conversations, and he would ask, he would sing, Prabhupada asked him to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And then he would tell him, you should put me in Samadhi. This was not the opening time, this was a few years later. So Prabhupada had many wonderful personalities coming here and giving him what is essential for himself as a devotee of the Lord. Because he was actually belonging to, according to his own lecture, he belonging to Radharani's party. He was a maid servant of Radharani. So even though he had Krishna Balaram, but the real mystery is the Radha Shyam Sundar, Lalita and Vishaka. So some people say Krishna Prabhupada was a cowherd boy, some people say. But that is mentioned in Venu Git. The gopis would glorify the bamboos, the deer. They are so fortunate. Maybe we should become next life a deer so that we can go with our husbands to Krishna. There was no direct expression. So Prabhupada also explained in one song that I am fondly remembering the time when I go to cow-herding pastimes with him. So we know that Prabhupada never spoke about his spiritual transcendental form, his Swarup. But when I read this song, I thought, wow, Prabhupada is a cowherd boy. But later on it is explained, this is exactly the mood of the gopis, the Manjaris. That Prabhupada, they were expressing their point of view by seeing other living entities, how they are serving Krishna very nicely. And they were aspiring the body of a deer or the bamboo or this and that, so many things. So anyhow, we are very fortunate that we are here. Many of our God brothers are also here. They all have a lot of things to say, I'm sure. So I will stop at this point. Vancha kalpa turuvasa kripa sindhavesha patitanam pavani vaishnavi Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna Balaram Temple Mahotsav ki jai. Golden Jubilee Yatra ki jai. Hitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. And we are concluding session here. Now we will have the Abhishek for our Lordships, Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Lalita Devi, and Shri Gaur Nitai, and also Srila Prabhupada Siddhanta. And our afternoon session will start at 3:30 in Krishna Hall, Goshala. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare